Hello, everyone. Welcome to FinanceOlogy 101. Class is now in session. The information provided during this podcast is just that, information. You will need to do further research to address your specific situation. Enjoy the session. Good evening, everyone, to another session of Gifted Generations presents FinanceOlogy 101. I'm one of your hosts, Robin Seegars, and the other host is
Elroy Seegars.
And this is part 2 of our personal journey with our special guest.
This is the good part.
If you haven't had a chance, go listen to part 1. You can see where Melissa was, her situation was, and tonight you get to listen to where she is now and her journey.
So how you want to start off? You want to start off with that right there?
Yes.
So we're going to give you a sheet of paper.
Okay.
And I want you to read it out because it's your accomplishment. I don't know how, if you're aware or not, where you were and where you are now. Go ahead, read it out loud. Read it out loud.
Oh, wow. Okay. I was able to pay off 18 credit cards and loans totaling over $20,000 in 7 months. I didn't realize that. Took a trip to Cancun.
Okay.
Took a trip to Cancun, fully funded. Paid for 2 emergency trips to see my dad. He passed away, but I was able to fully fund those to include the airlines and everything. 1 girls' weekend trip with my sorority, fully funded. A family beach trip, fully funded. Now I'm planning another trip to Costa Rica, which will be fully funded. Because that planning ahead of time. I have a retirement fund with my company. I also now have emergency funds, 3 to 6 months in regular savings. And then at the bottom, it's just a list of those things, those credit cards and loans I was able to pay off.
That's for you.
Wow.
So how you feel about that? Because you probably wasn't aware of all those things you've done.
Wow. $20,000
in 7 months.
That's crazy.
So, by any chance, do you know what was her total debt when y'all first started?
It's on the spreadsheet. It was like with credit cards, it was right over 20 because she still had the car. That's a different story.
Yeah.
So 22,400.
Wow.
Yeah. I can give you to the penny.
It's been 7 months. Pay that off. Yeah.
Wow. What an accomplishment.
Mm-hmm.
And you started working with us January 15th.
Of this year.
And one of the things I said, look, go ahead and spend like you normally spend. Remember I said that?
Mm-hmm.
I said, just give me 30 days and I want to see how you spend. I said, don't change your habits. Do what you do. Give me the receipts. And I said, journal. I said, journal your emotions. I said, because I want you to reflect back where you were at some point in time in your life. I said, you may turn into a book. Who knows? I said, but it's important that you can reach back and attain that.
What you were feeling
that day. Because a lot of things are emotions tied to why you do. Like, why is she spending? I said, journal that.
Mm-hmm.
I said, journal that.
Know the why. Yeah, if you know the why, sometimes that helps.
So true.
And it was like for her, it was just understanding that her decision tree had to change. Her accepting, I can do better because she had the money to do it. She didn't have the means to manage the money. And I'm saying, I'm going to provide the means to manage that money. And I said, I would do this with you. I said, but you want to follow my rules. I said, and it says, it ain't going to be fun. I can tell you right now because I know how you are. And I gave her a lot of leeway because I know you can't just tighten the reins up.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm going to give you the runway. I'm going to give you everything you can. And then I slowly just funneled her habits down. But here's the thing. It was so easy to change her habits because she started saying, why are you doing that? I think the day it changed for you is when I said you was going to your sorrow, I think. And she said,
what was the hat?
The hat.
I was like, oh, y'all. I was like, it's a $20 hat. Is he serious right now?
I went off.
I did off a hat. And I was like.
And when I said, it's not the hat. It's the fact that you didn't plan to do it.
Mhm.
It ain't the fact that it's. And she said it's just. I said, oh, it's just.
Mhm.
Today is just 20. Tomorrow's gonna be just
Mhm.
200.
Right.
Be just 1,000. I said,
Mhm.
it's that just was gonna get you in trouble.
Mhm.
So I was like, so you gotta always plan. I was like, okay. I said, take that hat back. She's like, I need that hat. I need that hat. I said, Robin said, Elroy. I said, all right, I'm gonna keep the hat. I'm gonna keep the hat. And she was like, woo. And then she sent the pictures and it was so beautiful.
Yeah,
and
they
y'all doing
were.
y'all line dances, man. I was like, man, it's like I just felt so proud of you just pushing forward. Because I know I can be difficult, but I always say, I love you. And I always send you messages in the morning.
Always.
To lift you up.
Yep.
Hey, today's gonna be a good day. No, where are you? And another thing I want to reflect, and you can chime in. We started doing the envelope system, Robin, right? The cash envelope.
Oh yeah, he told me. I was like, oh.
And I said, put money in the envelope, and you're supposed to. I'm gonna let you. You remember what happened? You spent all that money in like less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, I didn't get that concept. That didn't happen overnight.
I was like,
She did what? All the money gone for 2 weeks?
Gone.
I thought that was supposed to just be for the 1 week. I didn't know that was supposed to last.
I said, how much money you get in the envelope? She said, it's mine. I said, what?
It's only been like 3 days.
I said, where all your money go? Well, you get a receipt? Well, yeah. I said, I told her, I said, I had to sit down and say, okay, I got to just sit down and just figure out how I can. Ain't working. I said, that ain't working for her. I said, we got to change it. And then it came to me, weekly amounts. Because what we was doing for her, we had money for groceries, gas. You had to write envelopes, but you was like, I'm going to dip into this, I'm going to dip into that, I'm going to dip into this, I'm going to dip into this, I'm robbing B to pay Bob. Same old way. Right. And I said, Lord, give me a glimpse into what I need to do. And I said, I'm gonna give her all that money for all those things, but narrow it down and just say you only get $9 a week for do all those things. And when she did that, you can speak to that now. What happened when you did that?
Like you said, I was able to manage my money a lot better, and just being able to number one, being able to see where your money goes. That makes a difference too, because living in the age where we're just so quick to swipe, and I know, and that just goes back to me and my impulsivity, if that's a word, just how I'm always impulsive to doing things, and so that definitely was a good lesson to have the physical money in your hands and having it have to leave your hands and knowing where your money goes makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. You feel good now?
I do. Yeah. I really do.
Did you ever think you'd be at this point?
I would not be at this point if it wasn't for y'all. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah. And I knew that you had it is when I didn't hear your name anymore. I said, okay, she got it now because Roy's not talking. We're not meeting and talking about it anymore. I said, and maybe a couple weeks ago, I said, you haven't said anything about Melissa. Oh, she's fine. I was like, okay. I said, okay. Because, I mean, every day for a long time, he was talking, and he was talking. And I was like, oh, he ain't saying nothing anymore. He's not talking about Melissa. She must got it now.
Yeah. And that's when I knew you had it. And I know it was a sad situation. You used to say, when your dad got sick, everyone needed a plan. If I said, you got it. Well, I would say, I never said, let's look. I said, you got it. Right. Because I knew how much money you had. I said, you got it. I do. Yeah, you got it.
And that's a good place to be. I mean, it's just knowing that when anything comes up, any emergency that you, like I said, you have it. You don't have to worry, especially in an emergency situation like that. You already have 1,000 things going on in your mind, and you're stressed, and all of the things to worry about. And the last thing you want to be worried about is trying to finance how you gonna get right. Pay for a plane ticket and do this and do that. So I mean that part is just being able to just be able to not have to worry about where how you're gonna
and you went twice without a word in your world.
Now think about it. When in part one you said your friends was like, girl, do you? But now look at you. You doing you. Exactly what they said, but you being responsible.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The decision tree. What's good for me, what's not good for me, what's the want, what's the need. Because I always tell people, you can still do your wants. That's not the issue. It's like how far into the wants do you want to sacrifice some of your future that you need to, what you're gonna get into. So now you like, I gotta spend the money too. I just tell her, Hey, I need you to take $1,500 of your money and pay for this. But she's like, how much? Okay. I said, I know it's a lot. And then you came to me and said, I'm tired. I want to consolidate my bills. I said, you better not consolidate your bills.
I it'd be so much easier to do it.
Yeah. I sat down with her. I said, take this money you got in this account and just pay for everything. And she's like, what? I said, in 30 days, you're going to get all that back in your first paycheck. She's like, oh my gosh, this guy probably lost his mind. I said, trust me, you got this. And she sat down and she went and paid everything. I said, now you consolidate all your debt by yourself. I kept saying, you got to be self-sufficient and not rely on anybody but God. When you're able to do that, it was no longer crying to your mama, it wasn't crying to your daddy, it wasn't crying to anybody, your friends. Then I said, if you can't give away money, don't do it.
Right.
Because there's no such thing as loan. Because the people you loan the money to, you can't go back and borrow money for them.
Because they ain't having the first place. So how they going to pay you back?
That's why they asked you for it.
You just gave me $300. Well, I can't give you $200 back, girl. I still need some more from you today.
Exactly.
So I think those are the things I saw you change. You know, I saw your questioning start to change. You know, hey, what about my retirement? I was like, oh, this is different. Send me that paperwork.
Right.
I look at it and I said, girl, you know, you already got a camera set up. He said, what? I saw the questioning just was different. You know, I started seeing her not making like, you know, can I buy? It's like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this here, and this is the impact of my decision. Okay, if you good with it, I'm good with it.
So you just became a sounding board.
That was
for
it.
her.
Yeah, that was it. You know, do you think this is a good buy? Oh, she had furniture to sell, and she's like, how much should I sell this for? That's all it was for. It's like X, Y, and Z. You know, but she was making the decisions, and it was healthy decisions. It was no longer decisions to survive. It was decisions to advance your finances. Wow. Before it was survival mode. And after it was like I'm advancing my situation. You know, and now she has, you know, finances, you know, this does not mean y'all can come to her and borrow money, family. That ain't gonna happen because she's gonna say what? But you're gonna say no.
That's right.
No.
Enough of that.
Yeah. So she just changed. I didn't see it every day, but I can just hear it in the text because she knows I am. I'll be like, this. Stop saying those negative things. I said, because you put it out in the atmosphere, something's gonna grab onto. I said, you gotta say positive things. Even when you don't feel like it, you still gotta put out those positive things. So one thing we talk from my pastor is don't let that come out because it's hard to change that. You know, and you have to basically, you know, own up what you're doing and then push yourself forward. And I just saw that in a lot of texts. I just go back and say, when did she say that? Oh, okay. She good. I just saw some of the questions and stuff. And it was like early in the morning. She would text you like, girl, what time? 6 o'clock in the morning? I know. I would like, and I'd be like, ping, ping. And I'll respond back. Ping, ping. So I just saw her just, even in text, I felt the spiritual change. You know what I'm saying? I know it sounds crazy because I didn't see her, but I can see the tone just change. And I said, oh man, I'm backing off of her. She got this thing here. You know, it was good for her. You know, her process was, I don't think it was easy, but like I said, it was what? Doable.
And a lot of people are afraid because they know it's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
And you got to move past that because you got to see what you want it to be and fight through that. Don't give into that fear because you'll never move. You'll never move. Nope. Yeah.
I know it's humbling because you asking somebody for help, but I never judged her. I never, you know, I never put it down. I was just firm.
Yeah.
You know, but also loving to her, like, okay, I'm gonna be firm, but I'm gonna back up a little bit. I'm saying, you can't do that. Hey girl, I still love you. Let's do this right here. You know.
Now, in case anybody knows, this is our niece, so we can say that.
But you know, it's just
I don't care if you're my niece, it's still gonna be hard.
But you know what I'm saying? Say I love
but
you.
Sometimes you do need
my
that though. You need someone to, you know, have that tough love.
Yeah.
So that someone just gonna push you and just, you know, get you where you need to be and not just say what you need to hear to say. But
right.
And that's what you know, he did do that. I just that one time with that one hat, he was like, no, to the $20 hat. And I don't even think it cost $20. I think it cost less than that. But I'm gonna look it up too. I bought it on Amazon. But you do need that though. But still, but with love behind it.
Right,
And,
right,
always sending a word of encouragement.
right.
And
That's one thing about him with our family and with our sons is that when we first got on this journey, he put us through the same thing that he put you through.
Oops.
Spend for 30 days.
Mhm.
Let's see where the money's going, and then came up with a plan. And that's the beginning of the spreadsheet. And we were just approved to build this house. And from January to June, because we moved in Memorial Day weekend, we had paid off debt and saved $12,000. This was coming from a place where I was doing the finance and I was just paying stuff as it came in. I ain't had no plan. I was just, and nothing I was always short sometimes or too much sometimes. And I'm freaking out. So I finally gave it over to him in 6 months, paid off stuff and saved $12,000. So that's when I was like, okay. So when
he doing,
yeah. So when he said it's time to tighten up, I do not fight. Okay,
right.
And when he said, okay, we can go do such and such, and don't, ladies listening to this, don't think because he's the man and I'm the woman, and I'm like, okay, honey. No, he's the one with the financial sense. And so I'm going to follow the one with the financial sense. If it was me, he would be following me. It doesn't matter the gender. It just happens that's his gift. So I'm going to ride that wave because that's his gift. And when he say tighten up, I tighten up. So when it's hard on you, he get hard on us. Nope, y'all, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing this. And I'll be like, okay, because I know there's a bigger picture. He's not saying no for a reason, just to be saying no. He's saying it for a reason because there's a bigger picture. So once you find that person, or you even contact us, you find that person that will ride with you like that and have that sense, you better stick with them.
So talk about you was going to Cancun. I know a lot of times in this process, you kept saying, "Oh, I forgot about this bill." I said, "No problem, you got it." She's like, "Oh Lord, oh I forgot about that." I said, "No problem, you got it." Because I knew, I in my head, I'm like, okay, she got this, she got this, she got this. Bring it. How much is it? Okay, we got it. Or don't forget about, bring it on. We're good. She's like, "You sure? Are you sure?" I'm like, yes. And one thing I knew about Melissa, spreadsheets are not her forte. And I knew that from the first week. I said, okay, I just can't give her a spreadsheet. I just didn't say, here, you got your budget. Pay for this, save this. Do that every 15, every Thursday. You follow that process. We're good. And in 4 months, you're going to have this. She's like, okay. So I couldn't say, even though we shared a spreadsheet, she ain't never look at it. I just had screenshot, boom, pay these bills. And she says, "I'm saving that much this month." Yes, you are. That's a lot. I know.
See, soldiers follow orders. There you go.
Tell
me what to do, and I execute.
And you executed it extremely well. So I'm always trying to teach people, like, the decisions of like your money, even when it comes to warranty. She was going to Cancun, and I said, "Hey, Melissa, make sure you get you buy the plan where you can not even insurance, but you can just change or cancel it." It's his birthday. I said, "It's birthday."
Advice like that. I was like, "Should I get the warranty on the trip?"
Actually, I was a concierge. I need the flight to go to Cancun. Find me one.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I would. I'd be like, "No problem." No problem. I need to play to go to Indianapolis. Find me one. Okay, no problem. I did. I said, "No problem. I'll find your flight. You want to fly? I'll find your flight. You want to go in the morning, noon, afternoon. When you want to come back, morning?" I said, "No problem. I'll find you one." Boom. How's this price? I'm saying, how's this price? Because I know she can afford it. The low one and the high one. Which one you want to do? I'm gonna do. Okay, good. I never said that's too high. I said, I know what you're going for. Price does not matter at this point in time because you had the means. I said, but always battle remember when you have to pay a little extra when you can do the exchange fee before all that COVID stuff. And lo and behold, you change how many times to Cancun? Once or twice you change your airlines?
I think once.
And you say doing it once, pay for that.
It did. Because it paid for itself.
And a lot of times people want to pay that extra $20, $30 or $40. Don't pay $40 and no exchange fee or cancellation fee. I said, girl, you need to get that because you never know.
Because you never know.
And she got it. She said, I need to change my flight. I was like, Lord, thank God she got that insurance. Not insurance, but you paid a little extra to do the no fee cost exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one thing I try to do is like, that is still budgeting because you're saving money on the back end if you got to pay for that. But it's also about your decisions that you're making that you can see, hey, if I do this right here, and if I need to, I'm good. If I don't, it's a sense of comfort. It's a sense of, I can sleep better at nighttime knowing that I have that in my back pocket. Because that emergency fund is your back pocket. And now we setting up different goals for her. Like, hey, we're gonna make sure we do these things for you so you move forward, and you just continue this plan, and you're fine. And to me, I mean, I see. I haven't seen you since the beach, right? And to see you walk through that door, I said, man, she looks light.
Yeah.
She looks so light. Your mindset looks so light, and your smile is so pleasant, and that's the change. Because believe it or not, people don't realize debt can make you look and feel heavy.
Bondage.
Your shoulders are down, your head is down. Now you come in like, hey, how y'all doing? What's going on? I'm like, okay.
Because you like free. You free, yes.
And just think, all from January 15th.
It ain't been a year yet.
Exactly.
It's not been a year.
So what we got plans to do come December, January? We're doing what? Hey, say it loud, girl. Say it again.
I'm moving out my parents' house.
She told me, find me a place. Find me a car.
Please.
I'm like, okay. All right.
I love you, Mom and Harold, but
I said, okay. And I'm like, then she sent me a thing for a car. And I was like,
oh, well, yeah.
I was like, she's like, I said,
tell her what I said, what kind of car
Mercedes Benz. And I said, that's nice.
That's real nice.
That's nice. But we ain't gonna do that just yet. I said, because what I told her, I said, before you move out, I want you to start saving like you live into that apartment.
Right.
So if your apartment is $2,000, I want you to say $2,000 light bill, water bill. I want you to add all those things on top of it and then put that aside. Now it does two things. It gives you a larger savings account for later on, but it teaches you whether or not, I need to find something smaller because I can't afford all this here because there's so many startup fees going into your new apartment.
Right.
But you also know that what you got now, you won't have as much access to. So I got to be able to live on the rest and still do all those things to survive. Not just survive. I want to strive.
You want to thrive. Yeah.
I just say thrive. I want you to do well. And so a lot of times we move out and then we like, man, I'm struggling, but I'm doing good by myself. And you have no extra means to do better. Sometimes you got to get a second job or get a better job, get a raise. But you had it. You just had to make wiser decisions. So, we plan on moving out in December. No, I'm saying we, like I'm moving in with her.
Right.
I feel accomplished.
You can help with the moving process.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Physically moving things.
And see, think about her. She wasn't afraid to say, hey, can you help me find a car? I'm like, sure. Because I felt like, she was asking because there's something that she could not do or she wanted someone to help her with. And she didn't want to make no bad decision.
Right.
And I was like, when she sent me the Mercedes Benz, I said, that's a want. I'm going to get you what you need. And I said, we're gonna get what you need to get. And that Mercedes Benz is doable. I said, but let's make sure we can attain some goals because a car investment is the worst investment.
It really is.
Depreciate the minute
you
do that life.
But your retirement plan, that's an investment.
Yeah.
That grows.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's great. And you can get that. But I'm about paying that cash for you. And she's like, I said, hey, you can pay for cash for a car. How much? $20,000. She's like, what? I said, we can get that in about 6 months. She said, really? I'm like, yeah, you can. I said, because, you have changed the way you do things, the way you process, your do's and your don'ts and your wills and your wants. You have done a whole lot of mental changing. And I think you've come a long way from where you were. And I just keep saying it's less than a year.
Yeah.
It's less than a year. That's why I printed it out for you because I want you to read it. Because I knew you didn't know all that. I knew you didn't. I did the same thing to Robin for Christmas. Remember that Robin? I said, here's all the things that we paid for in 1 year. I printed it out.
Yeah.
And she read it. She was like, we done all this in 1 year. I said, yeah. Because sometimes you don't realize when you just going through, you just like check.
Going through the motions.
But when you sit down and see what you accomplished, and you need to realize, and that's just the glory of God right there saying, I got you. But that's your movement part right there.
Because a lot of people, our pastor, and we always talking about him because he says so much profound stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He said a lot of people, we pray, but we don't put any movement
Mm-hmm.
on those prayers. And you think God is like a genie. He's just
Mm-hmm.
going to come on and that's not how it works.
Yeah.
God said he blesses movement. So as we move, he moves. So we have to do our part.
So what have you learned through all this process? I mean, what if you had to tell somebody else, let me change that, go back into a younger you, what would you tell a younger you?
First, I would say, don't be afraid to be willing to be vulnerable, to open up yourself to have someone help you. I think that's the first barrier that most people have, is just making that step, because I said the embarrassment, the shame of how did I let myself get here?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I'm a grown person, like, how in the world, you know, am I at this place in my life and now I'm having to ask somebody else, you know, for their assistance? So I would say the first thing would be is just to let all that go, and just be able to be, you know, open and vulnerable, to letting someone help you is the first step. And then the second step is, just like you guys have kept saying, is just that, just knowing that it's all going to pay off. It's all for your, you know, betterment. It's for your growth, and it's not just that, but for someone else too. Like I said, your test is the testimony, and that's one thing I've always believed, that you know, God will put us through situations, but, you know, we may not necessarily understand why we're going through.
Right.
But, you know, he knows, you know, exactly why he's orchestrating those steps. And so just, you know, being willing to just be, you know, submit yourself to the process, because it's like, it's going to be painful. Right. It's going to be painful, but just being willing to be open to learn, and just know that it's all going to pay off at some point, even if, as much as it hurts in the beginning, it's gonna pay off. So. Right.
And most people don't want that pain. They rather enjoy themselves now and deal with it down the road. And they think it's never going to come to fruition, but that pain, and I always say that you're going to pay now, you're going to pay later. You decide. But somewhere you don't have to pay. And it's up to you to make that decision to pay it now so you can enjoy it later.
Process, right?
Yeah. It's a journey. It's a journey.
It definitely is.
But now you have control. Before it controlled you. Before you lean on others, you always, you know, and I saw that, I heard it in your voice. I remember when we was going through the process and you had to do something. You said, okay, let me go talk to her husband. I said, you got money. Why are you asking him? And she said to herself, I'm so used to asking him for a loan. I forgot to let my brother, her father, her stepdad. She forgot to look at herself that she had the means to. It was just a natural reaction, like taking a breath. I said, why you need money for him? You got this. You know, and one thing he always said, how's she doing? She's doing good. She's doing good. He's like, okay. Is she for any money? Nope. She's doing good. He was like, okay, she's not coming to me for anything.
Yeah.
Shocker, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was like, no. It was like, I said, any packages come to the house? And I remember the package came to the house. I said, Melissa, what you just buy? No. Let me explain it right now. So I was like, she was like, how you know? I was like, I'm asking you, the packages come to the house. Let me explain it right now.
You got a video camera set up someplace that I know about.
But that was still. I said, okay. She's like, oh, geez, I gotta explain myself. I need to start telling on myself. But that was the thing, you know, I wanted, like, you know, hey, somebody, you need to watch over yourself, like somebody's watching over you.
But it's accountability too, like you Bob said earlier. Something like we don't have someone accountable to make us accountable either.
Yeah.
Like you said, girlfriend's like, girl, I said, you single, you ain't got no kids, like, do you live your life? And no one to hold you accountable. I mean, you're just gonna keep following those same patterns, and not change.
Let me clarify something as far as when you had all that money in the envelope. She spent $400 in 2 weeks, y'all. And I was
What's
like,
it $400 in 2 weeks?
yes. I remember because I said, Robin, she don't want to spend all that money, and she ain't got nothing for 2 more weeks. He was like, hey, I need some more money. I was like, you're gonna struggle for the next 2 weeks. You're gonna be on the struggle bus. So when he came back the next month, and we started putting $90 per week for all of it. It was for food, restaurant, and shopping.
Mm-hmm.
And $90 a week is a lot of money. Right?
Oh yeah, that is.
Yeah, it is.
And she jumped on that plan so fast, and she managed it so fast. At one point in time, I said, "How much you getting?" I'm like, "Oh, I got $50." I said, "You know, Wednesdays every Wednesday we'll pay herself." I said, "No, they Wednesday." She said, "It is." I said, "They payday." She's like, "But I still got money from previous week." It's amazing how. Every Wednesday, I said, "It's payday." She's like, "It is." I used to do it every Wednesday. It's payday. Because she was paying herself every Wednesday. And then I would say, hey, create a fifth envelope of the first of the month just to make sure we can have that gap. And she's been doing that. And she's been maintaining that. You know, she was like, one time she was like, man, I ain't spent no money in 2 weeks. I was like, wow. So she started
managing. And your desires change too. That's the thing too. Like
you saw growth in your finances too.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because that bug gets you, you be like, ooh, if I cut this back, I can get this one grow. Because that's what happened to me. I was like, ooh, I like to see the account grow. Okay, Roy, turn this off and turn that off. And he's like, girl, we got to live. Right. I'm like, what? Turn this off. We don't need this. Because that money was growing and I liked seeing it.
I told Rob we was down at the beach. I said, the best conversation that I accidentally overheard when you was talking to your sister, and you said, "Oh, go ahead and cash out me that money that you owe me." I said, "Well, hello."
Oh shoot, I don't even remember that, but yeah.
You told her that. I said, "Robin," I said, "I don't know what they're sharing, but I heard her say, make sure you cash out me my money." And she's like, "Okay." Now the old Melissa was like, "Don't worry about it, I got you." The new Melissa was like, "Mrs. Shelton, cash out me that money." I was like, "Girl," she told her to give her money, and I was like, that just blew me away. I was like, oh my gosh, she asked for her money back. And I'm like, mission accomplished. Because now you can start telling people, you're going to come to me, you're going to come correct. And I think when I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for letting me hear that, Lord. Because now I know I can let it go. I can let it fly.
Because, people will count your money a part of their budget. I've had that happen. And it's like, I'm not working for me and you. Because that's what it became. I'm working for me and you. You spending your money however you want, and then you get money from me because of the rest. I'm like, oh no, we can't do that.
And see, I left out the fact that you get a rental car down the beach, and that's part of that plan too. Get a rental car. See, look at all those things you're able to do when you get money in your pocket, and not have to worry about the stress of money.
Right.
I mean, that mindset can just change all to you, not just your life, but anybody that you get married to, have kids, their lives too. Because now you're like, I have the tools to teach the next generation. I have the tools to teach my family, my friends, because you're gonna be around people that's gonna always influence you to do what they want to do. Ain't got a dime in their pocket. Ain't got a dime in the pocket.
Now, if everyone that's listening to this, listen to the pattern. Not only is she funding her entertainment fully, she's funding saving. She's saving her money. She's saving for her retirement. And she's on top of her bills and expenses.
And planning to go to Costa Rica.
So she's not just spending. We're not just talking about all the spending. She's doing all of that.
She's
all of that.
She is mastering those things too. Very much so. And I think, like a proud father I am with my 2 boys, I just felt so proud of you and what I always do when I'm with people. I feel like, man, I hope they know this accomplishment. So I try to jot down those things to make sure you look at your accomplishments next month. Look at your next, and I always said, hey, in 3 months, you're going to have this. She was like, okay. In 2 months, you're going to have this. Okay. Next month, you're going to pay this bill, but you're going to get this back here. Okay. She was always that okay person. But then she's like, oh, okay, I can see it now. It came in. And now she sees the benefit of just making those decisions now because they want to impact you so bad later. And when you when you move out, you're gonna have a party on top of party.
Boy, don't you know? It's gonna be the celebration of the year. It's gonna be bigger than New Year's Eve.
But it's well deserved.
It's
well deserved. And I know going from January 15th remember that day so well, to where you are now, and then where you're going to be in a few months in your own apartment. It's going to be even a bigger, because it's about freedom, relying on yourself, and you making your financial means to rely on yourself, and you don't have to make those phone calls no more.
Now you can be feeling grown.
Right. Yeah. And that's what independence is about.
Yeah.
That's what financial freedom is about. Is that piece right there, having your own. It may sound easy, but when you don't have the means to make it easy, you don't become vulnerable to the process. And you were very vulnerable to the process. So I always just call me, text me any morning, any time of day and night. I was like, this child don't text me. What the world? I was like, let me get up and answer it. Because I want to make sure that I was available. I would text someone. She was like, okay, can we just talk later? Because she got me started. She's like, can we just talk later? I'm like, okay, cool, come when you're free. But it's a joy to see you sit here at this table. And I know, even doing this is a reach for you. But I know this reach is going to reach people that need to hear it in their household, in their cars, on their phones, because this is the message that's going to change lives. This is the message that you can identify and attach to. That piece of paper in front of you, something you can look back and say, "Wow, I did all of that in 7 months." And I listed all of them. I think I might have missed one or two, but I think I went back and captured everything.
Right. You did.
And so I want you to see it.
And those people out there that say, "Oh, 20,000, I got way more debt than that," it's still doable. You have to find that accountability partner or that financial coach that can help you and mentor you through this. And you have to put in the work. But you still can do it, because I hear stories all the time. People with hundreds of thousands of dollars taking that leap of faith and doing what they have to do and paying it down.
Yeah.
So don't think just because you have more that you can't do it. No, you can do it. If you want it, you can have it.
And I knew I had to go in easy and then switch it on to aggressive. Because here's why I was switching on to aggressive. You was like, I want to do this. She kept saying, don't forget, I need to pay off this. I'm like, I got it on the spreadsheet. You don't know about that. Don't forget, I need to pay back this. Okay, I got it on the spreadsheet. She kept asking me, don't forget. I'm like, if she asks me one more time, don't forget. I'm going to come and snatch a knot in her.
But that was good, because that means she was engaged.
Yeah, she was engaged, but she was questioning me, is this on the spreadsheet? I'm like, yeah, it's on there. Because I had it really memorized and stuff, and I had it on my phone too. But she always made sure she didn't forget something. Did you get this bill? Yeah. We got to the point where she was forgetting a few things. I know it takes almost 2 months for people to actually capture everything, because you forget about the small things. And then I'm like, okay, here's another one. And then we finally got a good system in place. So it took us about 60 days. But in those 60 days, I said, let's build some emergency funds. We're not going to pay off anything. I said, we're just going to just pay these bills, let them go. We're going to just save some. I said, I want you something in your hand. Because what happens when you got a credit card and you use your credit card for your emergency, now that credit card would be something you got to pay off. I wanted to rely on myself.
So build a savings first, your emergency savings first.
And then when she did that, we had to get some tires or something like that. I said, go ahead and pay for the tires. You get the money. She said, okay, you got to go ahead and do it. I said, it didn't faze me one bit while still having to go to pay off things. I just been able
to do. Yeah, that's the key thing, is still been able to do other stuff at the same time.
Paying off the trip to Cancun, just planning for things that may or may not pop up, paying off those bills, and just what I did with her, I prioritized all her bills, 1 through 200. I prioritized them. I can say, I'm going to pay off this one, I'm going to pay off. And I had a date by it. Boom, how are we going to do it? I said, you're going to pay off this one this month.
That definitely helped.
Yeah. I said, don't worry. I said, this day we're going to pay off this. I said, no, you don't understand it. I said, but I'm going to put a number beside it. And this is how we're going to address each one. Because I want you to see 1 through the number 18, 19, 20. How are we going to pay for it and how it's going to apply the snowball effect type thing. And how you're not going to take that money and say, oh, I just paid off a bill for $200. No, that $200 is not going to go to something else. So just keep it rolling. And then it just got bigger and better and faster. And we got to the finish line. And I said, hey, you're done next month. She said, what? You're done next month? I said, everything is done. And she said, what? I said, now, then I put a spreadsheet. I sent her a snapshot. I said, look how much money you're saving per month now. She was like, oh my God. Now look at your total bills now. Almost nothing.
And all of this is on her current employment, her current
She didn't
job.
change anything.
She didn't get a second job. She
Thanks for
didn't
saying
get
that.
none of that. Because a lot of people think, let me go get another job and then
Thanks for
it'll
saying
get
that.
better. It don't get better. It get worse because now you got extra money and you spend even more.
Right.
I'm so glad you said that.
Our model for our app is same money, new level. You don't need to get a new job. You need to manage what you have.
I'm glad you said that because that is so important.
Same money, new level.
That is so important.
She had the same money. She went to another level.
You did.
There.
Yep.
Look at that smile, girl. Look at that smile.
There it goes.
Like, you know, you need one of those $2 for the dollar sign. Well, baby, is there anything else you might want to add or ask her? Anything else you want to say? You know,
I just want to say I'm proud of you. I'm so happy for you. And I'm just looking forward to seeing what else you got going on.
Yeah.
And y'all, we didn't mention that. What's your career field?
I'm physician assistant.
Hello.
We so proud of her.
Hello. So that's what Gift Generations Dash LLC can do for you.
That's right.
We can help you put yourself. You can put a rabbit out of a hat. But the rabbit's gonna be some dollar signs. I do want to say I'm extremely proud of you because I don't know if you remember or not, but I actually came to you 2 years before then.
Yeah, we came to all the nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys sure did.
Yeah.
You did.
But we had to wait for you guys to come to us.
Because what she did, she went through a 6-week program where we did a PowerPoint presentation, and I was just trying to change the mindset. But she was really far beyond that because there was some things that we had already had in place just for conversation. But I'm like, let's still go through. I want you to see. And I was looking for critique too to make sure I can change some things. And she went through that, and we hit the ground. I mean, like running a 100-yard dash at the end of the race. That's how strong she went in. And I was like, man, she's gonna do good. You know, I said she's gonna do exceptionally
and
well.
like we said that we can't want it more than the other person. And when we offered it to all the nieces and nephews, we just stood back and waited for whoever came to us. And we was, come on, we ready to help you.
Yep. And you took it up, and now look at you now.
Right.
And here's the thing that a lot of people don't realize. People say, well, I don't need that. I'm doing good with my finances, but you can do better.
Yes, indeed.
You can do better.
And of all the nieces and nephews, you the oldest?
No. Gotta be Shayna.
Shayna.
Oh,
That's
right.
right.
That's right. That's right, Shayna.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're next.
Yep.
So you're going to be the example for the rest of them.
Yeah.
Because they're going to see
listening. I better listen to this.
Yeah. You're going to be the example for the rest of the
But no loans.
No more. No more.
Tell them that.
And that has changed too.
The Melissa Savings and Loan is gone.
Is it MSL?
If not FDIC, okay,
Right.
Oh my God.
It's gone.
Let's not be sure.
They shut down.
And that's what I see you part of. I'm not saying that because there's so many changes that you have mastered. That's just one of the biggest things is knowing, me first.
Yeah.
God did me first.
Yeah.
God did me first. So I'm extremely proud of you. Thank you for driving up and doing this podcast.
Thank you.
And I kept saying, we're not gonna let that thing happen to you. I said, no hair, no friend, no dog, no nothing. I said, you need to get up here, do this thing. Because we don't want the enemy to win, and not doing it right. The enemy wins because you have a spiritual message that I'm trying to tell you.
Yeah.
You download this here and you play it with your friends. And girl, this is where I was. And not only that, you want to make sure as you go into your life, as you in your relationships, you want to make sure you set those same kind of foundation with your partner. If that person's not making those kind of sound decisions, you need to get in there or you move on. Because that person can bring you down. Can bring you down. So you got to make sure whoever you get yourself involved in, they can. I ain't saying he has to lead or you got to lead. You got to say you both got to understand.
Right. Be on the same.
Yeah.
Because I'm a very strange. I'm a spender/saver. When you say it, Robin, I spend, but I save. I said, Robin, let's go shopping. Robin, let's go save.
Right.
Robin, let's go shopping. Robin, let's save. And she's always, okay, Robin, pack your bags. We're going X, Y, and Z. And she said to me, can we stop doing things on the weekend? I'm just tired. Because I'm a busy boy. I know I am. But she's always ready. She's always there to support.
Whatever you say.
Yeah, she's always there to support. Because I'm looking at the numbers and stuff. She's looking at. I say, hey, we got to free this for a night. Oh, we're going down, Roy. We're going down. Hey, look, do you want to go X, Y, and Z? But that comes from preparation planning. Mm-hmm. We're planning our vacation a year out. Mm-hmm. But, if you, and what people don't realize, if you save a little bit now, it's less when you got to make that change. Mm-hmm. We tend to say, I ain't going to save. I'm going to put on a credit card. Who are you paying? You paying the bank all that money back. Mm-hmm. You ain't paying yourself. Saving means you're paying yourself, and you saving for yourself. Mm-hmm. And you've learned that. Now, yeah, you put it on a credit card, but then you pay it off. Right. You know what I'm saying? You're like, well, all right, I got the credit card to buy it. I'm going to pay it off at the end of the month when the bill comes in. I'm good. A lot of people pay for, $20 a month ain't much. Mm-hmm. 20 becomes 40. 40 becomes 80. Yeah. Well, 100 ain't much. And you paying all that interest. And now with the interest rate so high, you paying a lot of interest. Mm-hmm. It's about decisions. Yeah. It's about decisions. So I want to wrap it up. Any last words for you, man? Are you sip on that tea? No. She sipped on the tea as she gave the tea.
No, just once again, just thank you for the opportunity to tell my story, and just thank you for what you guys have done for me. It's beyond what words can express how grateful I am to you, and just the journey that I've been on with you all, and the support and encouragement that you guys have shown me, and I love you all both dearly for it.
Oh, we love you too, and we're so happy and proud of you, and we can't wait for that housewarming
party. You'll be invited.
So everyone, thank you for listening in. Thank you for being our faithful listeners, and definitely download and share. Listen, download and share part 1 and 2, because this is definitely a testimony for someone else to hear, some encouraging words for someone else that's trying to get on this journey. So please listen, download, and share this message.
And guess what? You have just freed yourself up to talk about your story to anybody now. Mm-hmm. Because you was probably like, I want to share it. I don't like my voice. But now your voice is going to be heard by millions. Mm-hmm. And now you can share it. Mm-hmm. It's that powerful that when someone, and you hear somebody, and I know, I ain't going to tell you, I hear a comment, I was like, you struggling financially? This brother, yeah, I am. I mean, I'm just, if I hear it, but I also got to hear the voice of spiritual concern before I lean into someone's conversation. Hey, I can help you out. Here's my card. But thank you for coming up. I appreciate you. So we can be found on different podcasts. My wife, she is the social media queen. Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. We can find us by searching FinanceOlogy 101. Twitter handle @GiftedGen2019. Instagram is gift.gen. Facebook, GiftedGen LLC. And then, of course, our podcast can be found on our website. It's giftedgenerations with an s-llc.com/podcast. Don't forget that dash, because if you forget that dash before the LLC, you're going to end up somewhere that you can get no place being. And it may cost you a whole lot of money to get up out of there. So don't do it, y'all.
And just remember to download the app. Go to Google Play Store for those Android users to download Bags of Money app. And like we said, it is the app version of the spreadsheet that we use to help our clients. Right. So go and check out the app. You can use it free for 30 days. Right. So
listen, just always ask me, how do you know 3 months out how much money I'm going to have? Because the spreadsheet was built off the same person. I can go to that certain deal in that spreadsheet based off her spending habits and say, oh yeah, in 3 months you're going to have about $5,000, $6,000. I knew already. Right. Anything that it took away from it would just lower the amount, or anything add to it would just raise the amount. So I already knew where we was going to be 7 months down the road.
And the app does the same thing. Yeah. So go out there, download it, and play around with it, and see what it can do for you, and let it bless your life.
It will. Like Melissa has blessed our life.
And I just bless mine.
Well, thank you, ma'am. So we're going to end this session. Signing off.
All righty. Have a good night, everyone.
Thanks again. Bye-bye.
Well, thank you for tuning in to our podcast, FinanceOlogy 101. I hope you enjoyed this session, and the information provided will assist you on your financial journey. Until next time, be financially engaged.